Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Esoteric Atlanta. As many of you guys know, I'm so excited. I've opened up with my friend Paula an online virtual mystery school. This is what I do for a living outside of YouTube. I am the only authorized female teacher, KPJY authorized teacher in the state of Georgia. And I'm so excited that Paula and I have opened up this online platform to be able to share our teachings globally. Now, with this online platform, obviously many of you guys know, but I will remind you if you're new here, we are in the soft launch phase of this online platform. So until February 20th of 2025, we are soft launching this platform. And with that, we have a special price for tuition. So right now, tuition is $25 a month. That is so cheap to get all of this stuff. So it's less than $1 a day. Now, if you purchase during the soft launch period before February 20th of 2025, we will honor that $25 a month forever. So your tuition will never go up. After February 20th of 2025, tuition is going up to $40 a month, so that's quite a big savings. Now, with this, and the point of this little video is we're going to also be having other master teachers on this platform. So we're not taking just any teachers. We're working with master teachers, two of whom are people you already are familiar with if you've been on this platform for a while, which is Katherine Edwards and my friend Cindy Olah. Of course, Todd at AYA is going to be contributing stuff. My friend Chris up in Canada is going to be contributing stuff. We've got a lot of teachers lined up who are going to be doing stuff for this platform. And anytime we bring a guest teacher on, we're going to interview them. So with these interviews, right now we have Katherine Edwards' interview up. We also have part 1 of Cindy's interview up. And a lot of these people, even though you have seen them and you follow their channels, a lot of what we talk about in these interviews, that's why they're called the forbidden interviews, is because this is stuff that we can't talk about on YT or other public platforms because of terms and service. And so we get down to the juicy details of our guest teachers' lives. And so, especially if you know Katherine Edwards from her podcast and her YouTube channel, we go deeper into her story in this interview, as you can see from the title. I can't say that here on YT. And then Cindy, part 1, Cindy is literally going into what it was like for her to emigrate to the United States from Peru as a child. And then in part 2, she's going to get deeper into shamanistic stuff, more magical stuff like the Moonite key rites. Now, obviously, if you guys have been on this journey with me, you know that I get shadow banned a lot because I do talk about traditional spirituality, which is very much in conflict with the corrupted spirituality that flourishes on the YouTube, right? So a lot of this stuff really cannot be spoken about in an open platform because it goes against the narrative set forth by the establishment. That's all I'll say on that. So I'm going to leave this little promo with a special sneak peek into both Cindy and Katherine's interviews to give you a little teaser. And of course, obviously, the interview section, again, it's just for us to talk to and for you to get to know some of these other teachers that are going to be contributing to our school here. And also, I know for some of you guys, you already know these two ladies, and so it's nice to kind of hear a deeper story of where they're coming from. As I say, a lot of people look at us who have been doing this for a very long time, and they judge themselves against where we are. That's why I always say don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. But all of us started somewhere. We all began somewhere. So it's kind of nice to hear from Katherine and Cindy and Todd and others that we've got interviews lined up for, to hear where they started, where their beginning point was. And of course, on top of that, if you are a part of this platform, we're constantly adding new workouts to the platform. We've got tons of courses already that are up. I have the Bhagavad Gita course, Paths to God, and the Alchemy of Movement course. Of course, Paula has her healing and meditation courses, and I've got another course that I'm finishing up for January. And as we add to this, so as courses get added to this library, none of the older courses are going away. So what you're getting when you first sign on to this platform, it's only going to grow from here. And then, of course, once we start our grand opening, You're going to get monthly calls with Paula and me, and also some monthly live classes with us too. So anyway, guys, I will have all that information down in the description box below. If you want to register, you get 7 days of a free trial. So you can sign up and try it for 7 days. And if you don't like it, you can cancel it. But I'm going to leave this with a sneak peek into Katherine and Cindy's interviews. Over on the Esoteric Academy, Paula and I have a forbidden interview with the Katherine Edwards. Katherine Edwards, of course, is one of my friends who is a biologist over in the United Kingdom who has had a wildly successful YouTube channel as well as a podcast. As many of you know, Katherine, like myself, has definitely faced the consequences of speaking out over these last few years. Well, today over on the Esoteric Academy, Katherine Edwards is giving you an intimate look at her life story, speaking about things she's never talked about before. Here is a sneak peek of that interview.
And as a consequence at school, and I grew up not really trusting adults, I would honestly say. So for me, of course, I accept I've been brainwashed about things. I mean, I think any of us who think we're not subject to the brainwashing is delusional, and you don't get to that stage in business without doing some dark things. And, you know, it's really interesting. And it's interesting him saying, well, you were always quite serious at university. But I was. 2 reasons. One, I didn't know at that stage that I had severe hearing loss. I just started listening to a Billy Carson interview, take him or leave it, it's not the point, about how people have been worshipping in the Bible Satan, not God, you know. We were about to get the stage out, weren't we, Paula?
I know.
I've never been stuck in a job I don't like, because if I don't like it, I find something else, and it's normally something completely different to what I've done before.
You've had this long, successful marriage. I know people hear you mention your husband occasionally on YouTube, but that in today's world, the fact that you guys have been together successfully in a healthy marriage and have had 2 children is so commendable.
Very rare. So kept going, and she's had so much prejudice against her. You don't want to suppress your feelings, and everyone needs their girls' night out where they can just
the venting time.
The amount of times I've been on the phone to I think that's a really important part of the cycle of life. I don't think we're meant to be here in this body for this amount of time. I've always known reincarnation is real, because I had a couple of examples when I was younger.
My boyfriend's like, well, that's not our decision to make. We have to let him make his soul make that decision on what's best for his soul at that time. And it was very easy for him to be like, I think she's actually yours. I think she wants to be with you.
That's so beautiful that he's got that awareness, because it is so true. And, you know, and he does it. So my husband just leaves him to it. When he sees me, he knows I'm going to scoop him up and bring him home. So at that stage, I was like, absolutely no more. Absolutely. Am I not doing
this? It's a side effect, but is it a good side effect?
But it was all that has actually cured anything. But I haven't done the research on animals, because the information just isn't out there at the moment.
It was so obvious that there was another agenda here. And
then the other thing I do is one-on-one consults for people as well, because there's a brilliant cat one as well. And this is my passion, because when animals are a way into us, and like the thing is, I love the placebo effect. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's a real advantage. There's no downside to the placebo effect.
When you don't really know what's going on, is this just a natural, you know, in yoga we talk about all the time that sometimes you do need to get sick because it's your body.
It's so fascinating. But thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Katherine. It was really lovely to hear everything, and, you know, about your childhood and how wonderful your dad was. And
he's amazing. Yeah.
If you would like to listen to the full 90-minute interview with Katherine Edwards, where she discusses things that cannot be discussed openly on our other platforms, this platform in particular, then please follow the link down in the description box below. I am so excited today for Paula and I to have my friend Cindy Olah from Sacred Garden Yoga here for this part 1 interview regarding her life. Many of you guys know Cindy from my YouTube channel, Esoteric Atlanta. I have known Cindy for years. I have taught at her yoga shala for years, and I'm here to tell you her story is incredibly interesting. We're going to explore how she found yoga from a little girl born in Peru to a woman who grew up in Georgia, how she discovered yoga in the 90s, and through that discovery ended up opening up a yoga shala and then moved forward in her life to become more shamanistic, going back to her Peruvian roots. And now, as we get into this interview, as we get into the nitty-gritty of Cindy's life, you will understand why we have to put this on the other platform, our Esoteric Academy platform. This again is one of our forbidden interviews, or one of our forbidden podcasts, because we talk about some pretty scandalous stuff. Here's a small snippet of this interview with Cindy. If you're interested in the full, almost 2-hour interview for part 1, please follow the link down in the description box below. A little witchy and a little magical, and have had definitely a life filled of experience with esoteric knowledge and spirit. I know your Peruvian roots are a huge part of your magic, and so let's do you mind just starting there, Cindy? Like
in Peru, yeah, you're right, in Lima, Peru. And I moved to the United States when I was about 3.5 or 4 years old. Very curious about what people had to say about spirituality. And, went through, those confessions and communions and all those things. And
same with the cemeteries. I love me some cemeteries.
And that's been for a long time, too. Talk about planting weird seeds, And when I was in college, like I said, I studied biology and psychology. And I think that was the same thing. There's always been this curiosity of trying to understand what made the world work, what made the world tick. And still to this day, I am totally fascinated with all that is science. I think there's a merging that happens somewhere between science and spirituality. I've always felt that. And with that, how the mind works has always been, how the body, the biology aspect, yes, and everything that has to do with how the world works and functions, but then also the body. When I was really little, I studied ballet, but then I dropped out. But I was always exercising, though. I started exercising to some of those videos that they would have on PBS. I don't know if y'all remember Denise Austin.
Yes, I remember her.
Do you remember her? Well, yeah, as you said, it wasn't so readily available. And the internet at the time, it wasn't a thing. I think the internet was it was just starting. So anyways, I had to find the yoga class in a phone book. Back in the day, speaking of phone books, we were talking about phone books earlier. I actually looked through the yellow pages to try to find a yoga class. And he was teaching from his home. He had a studio in his home at the time. And so it was really, I don't know, that whole thing was new to me because it wasn't in a gym. It was in someone's personal home. So taking that first step and saying, okay, I'm actually going to go into this, this place, and without knowing anything about it. I was in the risk department, right? But so you could see everything, see all these crazy loans and those balloon payments and all this. Anyways, I'm like, this shit is going to it's not going to work out. At the beginning of that, I definitely had that whole imposter syndrome. Like, I had the yoga studio, but I'm like, who am I to even be teaching any of this? And am I even supposed to be doing this? I don't even think, these are the things that would go into my mind. I don't even think I should be doing this for a living, because it's new. At least the other ones have been around for a while, and you had some, but this,
What the hell is happening?
Yeah.
And I know.
And I do have this weekend class I've been teaching about just back to kind of yoga and the physical body, about mobility. Mobility is really where it's at for me, especially as you get older. So the class that I'm going to put together for you guys, one of the classes that I'm going to do is going to be on mobility. Like,
Awesome.
That's the real juice that I like talking about is the witchy stuff. We're going to go into her Buddha rites, all that kind of stuff, the shamanism, everything like that.
We do one for the wheel of the we follow the wheel of the year.
Yeah.
So we have the winter solstice or Yule coming up. We always do something for the eight, high seasons. So
We're going. All right, you guys, if you would like to hear more from Cindy, hear her full story for part 1, then please follow the link below in the description box to our Esoteric Academy. Coming soon is part 2, where Cindy gets more into her shamanistic roots, including things like the moon Aki rites.